All right, seventh graders. So I apologize that I haven't graded anything. I just spent about 4 days uh, grading my juniors. I gave them an essay question, 4 essay questions to answer. So I will get on grading your stuff and putting those grades in for those of you that have been turning things in. If you're looking at your grade, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more about the Renaissance. All right, so I gave you guys the self-paced code. If you go to the first slide, you're going to see four of probably the greatest thinkers that lived during the Renaissance. You've got Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael. If you know anything about the turtles, you'll know why they have those bandanas on. If you don't know anything about the turtles, ask your parents. They probably do. So, you have these ideas. All right. What I want you to understand is that the Renaissance didn't just happen. It wasn't just like everybody woke up one day and was like, "Hey, it's the Renaissance. Look, we're looking at Ptolemy and all of these Aristotle and Plato and all of these old Greek and Roman thought processes, and I just feel enlightened today. That I can look at all of these new things and I can see my place in the universe much more clearer." No, it wasn't like that. Okay, the thing is most people didn't even know that they were a part of the Renaissance. Just like more than likely you probably won't even realize that you're a part of a historical aspect that in 150, 200 years people are going to be talking about as, I don't know, the land of Trump. I don't even know. Whatever they call us at this point in time. So, no, these people had no clue what was going on during their time. And to be honest with you, most of the people that were living during this time were not even affected by the Renaissance. You're looking at more than likely like 95+% of Italy in Europe who had no clue what was going on. They didn't know that Leonardo da Vinci was living and he was designing flying machines and working on anatomy. Didn't know that Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, or Filippo Brunicelli figured out how to effectively enclose a dome without it collapsing on itself. No, just like history, we look back at things and aspects that show us what we learned from something and how to better it. Your reason for why we should study history was just right there. We can probably better ourselves by looking at what has happened in the past. So we have this time frame of the Renaissance. Okay, what we really need to look at is the fact that the Renaissance happened in Italy. Italy was really the major player, geographic area for the Renaissance. So you have the reasons for Italy being the main player of the Renaissance, and it really came down to money gained from trade. So you had wealthy families and wealthy provinces that were in Italy who specialized in like one thing. And you might specialize in woven cloth. The province, and that you could do that maybe like say in Florence. In Venice, they specialize in dyeing that woven cloth. So you have this trade aspect between all of these provinces. But what they're really looking for and looking at is trading outside of Italy. And who they go towards is the Ottoman Empire. Okay, we've talked about the Ottoman Empire. You're looking at modern-day Turkey. Back then it was called Anatolia. It was a really major aspect of the Crusades. And what happened was that the Italians are trading heavily with the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire actually have all these old Greek and Roman writings that they have gained from Constantinople when Constantinople was sieged. And they've been reading and deciphering these writings for decades, if not maybe a century or so. And you start getting these Italian merchants bringing these ideas back and some of these writings back to Italy. So each of these city-states have now all of this money coming in from the Ottoman Empire in trade, and you have these rich people in these famous families within these city-states that have money now to actually have a sculptor, to have a painter, to have somebody put on plays, and going back to that Greek and Roman aspect that we have talked about. One of the main families that we'll look at are called the Medicis. Okay, they really truly embody a Renaissance aspect. They were very interested in the old writings of the Greeks and Romans. They were very interested in being a patron of the arts, and they're a family that you really see painted a lot or depicted a lot throughout the Renaissance. So the Renaissance, when you really look at it, is considered a rebirth. It's a rebirth of secularism, individualism. You go back to this aspect of secularism, which is the movement of religion and humans, and religion and humans during the Dark Ages was this. Religion and humans during the Renaissance, we see, is more this. It's more of this coming together aspect of where does religion and humans fit together at? How can we strengthen religion while strengthening the aspect of humans also? So you have this aspect, and the visual arts was huge for this. They went back to focusing on the human form. Columns, arches, and domes were another aspect of architecture. But here's the thing, okay? During this time, they did not forget about religion. All right. When we look at a lot of the paintings and sculptures from this time frame, you're seeing a lot of religious aspect. The Madonna, okay, huge. David, these aspects, and they were repainted over and over, or sculpted over and over. So they didn't forget about religion. It wasn't just like they just totally discredited religion. It was like, get out of here. That stuff's phony. It doesn't even matter. No, they were still looking at religion, but they were looking at how religion and humans fit in life together. All right, and that's where you get this humanist aspect, where we have the aspect they were studying the humanities again. They went back to that aspect instead of just studying religion, which was pretty much, the movement of the Dark Ages. They were bringing in humanistic aspects now. So it lasted 15th and 16th centuries. You're looking at 200 plus years, okay? We obviously know that human beings don't live that long. So these people they were not alive all at the same time. And the interesting part of this is like Donatello and Raphael, two huge people during this time. They were 90 years apart. They didn't even meet each other, but yet here they are as being touted as some of the best Renaissance people, and we look at it as being like we have World War II in the United States, and people lived during World War II, and we know that the time frame for Eisenhower and Hitler and all these people, they lived in the same time frame. But when we talk about the Renaissance back in the day, we're confused sometimes as thinking that these people all like met each other and went to coffee shops in Italy, or ate pasta and sauce together. But they didn't. That's not what they did. A lot of them never even crossed paths with each other, and a lot of them had the same ideas or painting wise. So you have this this movement with the Renaissance where you're looking at a long time frame. Please understand that. This isn't just like 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. This is a couple hundred years that we're looking at. And like I said, more than 95% of the people in Europe had no clue what was going on during this time. Most of them still lived in or on small farms and were working for someone else. Healthcare wasn't better for them. They didn't get to go out and have a painting painted of their family or stuff like that. Like they were still just poor. So we look at a lot of this aspects of they bring out even writings. I'm trying to look at a little bit more of my notes that I wrote, but we go back to the Renaissance in itself and how you have great thinkers, but these great thinkers we really don't understand until 100 years, 200 years after to see what they have done, because we finally get to put their history together and to find out what they have done. Most of Da Vinci's stuff has never been found. He got I can't remember. I don't think it was him that got rid of it, but it's been lost in time, lost in history. And could you imagine knowing everything that Leonardo da Vinci had put out there? Now, the next slide is a video, John Greene, and I need you to watch this slide, or this video. I allowed it. The thing is that this video has a question that's going to be attached to it. That's going to be your classwork, okay? And I'm going to put that question in classwork. You have to watch the video to get the answer to this question, all right? So, intro to the Renaissance, all right? Let's look at our learning goals real quick, okay? I want you to understand what the word humanism means, how this thought process went against the Catholic Church, and what a humanist actually believes in. We've kind of grazed that area a little bit, but we're going to get into it a little bit more. Okay, I want you to understand what Renaissance means, how it impacted everyday life, and some of the main thinkers during this time. We're going to take time to look at a lot of main thinkers during this time. I want you to understand the reasons that Florence was the cradle of the Renaissance and how it helped spread new ideas. We'll even go back to your maps, and we're going to find out where Florence is so you guys remember this stuff. And I want you to understand the factors that led to the downfall of the Renaissance and what took place after the Renaissance, because it keeps going. History doesn't just stop. We move on from that aspect. We learn from it, or we fail to learn from it, and then we repeat our problems again, and then hopefully we learn from it. All right. So your weekly classwork is going to be your vocabulary. All right. So the vocabulary is on slide 5. If you have questions on that, please ask. I'm going to type them in there for you too in the classwork, but your weekly classwork is that. The video itself, watching this, is going to be due tomorrow by midnight, all right? I won't post a video for you tomorrow, but I think tomorrow I do want to set aside some time for all of us to get together again and talk whether about the Renaissance, about what you guys have seen on the video, maybe you're one of your favorite Renaissance people, so forth and so on. Please try to be a part of that, all right? I know I can't force you to be a part of that, but I would like to see some of your guys' faces if at all possible. And really, if you log in for 25 minutes, half an hour, just to be a part of it a little bit, what's that going to hurt? You're not doing much anyway. Okay, we're all stuck. All right. So, your vocab will be due at the end of the week, and then we will jump into really. I'll give you guys one more podcast probably this week, and we'll jump into what the Renaissance is, looking at some pictures, dissecting them, because a lot of these Renaissance painters hid a lot of stuff in their pictures. So if you are good with that, I'm good, and I'm going to leave you with one last thing before you leave, before we are done. All right, so here it is. Have a good day. Good song right here. If you've never watched the original, you need to watch the original. Alright, so I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully in the chat. Have a good day.